Happy Comic-Con Day, everybody. It's a big day for Walking Dead fans in San Diego Comic-Con because we got a preview of essentially what the next year of Walking Dead content is going to look like. We got trailers for Season 2 of Daryl Dixon as well as Season 2 of Dead City. These are the sequel series to the original Walking Dead series with Daryl Dixon and now Carol added into the mix in France, and Dead City with Maggie and Negan in Manhattan. So it's a very exciting day for me as a Walking Dead fan. We got the panels to take a look at, but there's no big announcement. A lot of us were wondering if they're going to announce a new show, if they're going to announce Season 2 of The Ones Who Live, the Rick Grimes show. We got a little hint of maybe a Rick Grimes reunion somewhere in the distance, but nothing major like that. But we did get a little preview of what all the character arcs are going to look like, and there's a lot to break down in the trailer, so I'm excited to get into it. So this first trailer here with Dead City that we're going to take a look at shows Maggie entering kind of a new cult or something. She's going back to Manhattan. The cliffhanger we got at the end of last season showed a split screen shot between Maggie and Negan, and kind of hinting that Maggie wanted to resolve this conflict between them once and for all. I somehow doubt it, because of course they want a Season 3, I'm sure. But what does that mean? And in this trailer here, it actually sounds like Maggie is going back to try to save Negan's life. Negan was kind of forced to become a leader again by this woman who seems to be in charge of Manhattan. We got a little preview of that at the end of last season. And the big thing with Negan here is he's got the bat again, of course. LUCILLE's what we all wanted to see. We want to see that full transformation. We got a hint of it last season where Negan was kind of up to his old tricks, putting that performance on to intimidate people and protect the ones he cares about. And now it seems he is forced to go deeper into that dark place. So what does that mean for him? And some of the questions in the panel, people are asking, is this good Negan? Is this bad Negan? Jeffrey Dean Morgan didn't really answer the question directly, of course, because that would be a spoiler. But we all know he has both of these parts within him. And Ginny is a child that he cares about a lot as well. So there are these two parts of him, and his motivations seem to be mostly good, but they lead him down this darker path at times. So we start with Maggie kind of discovering this new group. So Maggie enters this room with this like cult-like people. There's lights on her, there's fire around, and everybody's seemingly waiting for her. The door kind of opened, so it's almost like they were there waiting for her, and she's like just kind of taking this in and absorbing it, and doesn't really seem to be all that excited to be there, if you ask me. Kind of a deer in headlights moment is what I get from that. And then we get shots of Herschel, her son, and the relationship between them. There's kind of a wedge between them, and something they talk about in this panel is one of the main themes of this season. And the relationship between Herschel and Maggie is that one of the things about life is that there's oftentimes where you're trying to rectify something in the past in your own mind and you neglect being present. So she can't really invest fully into this relationship with her son because she still has this lingering conflict with Negan, and the fact that Herschel carries a bit of Glenn with her, and that Negan conflict are a one-on-one just fighting that. So that's the essential theme that we ended with that first season, and we're picking up with that here. And then we're hearing a voiceover from this woman here, and her name is the Dama, and she's the one in charge, that the Croat, the villain that was built up all season, he's answering to her, and we got a little hint of where that's going in the panel that I'll get back to in a second. But her voiceover, I think it's her at the beginning here, she's talking about how the old world was something that kept people apart, and that world was the one of the dead. So I don't know if she's talking about the current day world before the apocalypse. That, of course, is talking about the haves and have-nots, and we can make something new. And I'm curious what the context of that dialogue is, but they end that with seeing Negan in this prison cell and then he kind of lifts up his hood. Almost reminds me of Negan in the Here's Negan episode where he's playing video games, has his hoodie on. It almost seems like that, and then he reveals himself, and then we cut to him with the bat. So that almost gives a different context to the line at the beginning, that the old world, meaning the old Negan, the world of the saviors, and all of that, bringing that back. So I think it's good editing to put those things together. But you see that Negan rebuilt the bat almost as a prop to bring the old self back. And I'm curious where that's going. He has the lights on the show, and there's all these people with these hoods on, and it seems like a church environment. So I'm really curious where he's going with this. He seems to be up to no good. He's mischievous here. And then Maggie's talking about going back to Manhattan. And I'm not sure. This almost looks like a shot from the first season, maybe even the first episode, but I'm not entirely sure. And then we're seeing dead bodies thrown into these vats, which we saw last season. They're turning dead bodies into methane, and that is the fuel source for the city. And it's also going to be the subject of a war. One thing they talked about in this panel here was that the actor for Pearlie talks about how the New Babylon town that he is from is set to go to war with Manhattan over this fuel source. So that is where he starts this season. So that's a big hint of where that storyline is going and why he's going to end up back involved in the story again, because he did go home. He lied to cover up for Negan, and that's probably going to be a problem for him if everybody from his town is going back to Manhattan. They're going to find out that Negan is still alive. And not only that, but he's got his bat again, and he's killing people again. The whole reason why he was wanted to begin with. So I have a feeling Pearlie might end up changing sides throughout the season. That's speculation on my part, not something that I talked about in this panel. But I really like what we've seen. I think the production value looks good. We got this group here where this woman is holding out some type of organ or something. I don't know what that means. We got new characters here, new cast members. We got another cage, a little bit of repetition from the last season. But we got a new environment here. There's like this table here. It's almost like kind of a medieval look to it, where there's the lords or something of the area who are feasting before this show, and everybody around is like geared up as well. They're almost wearing some armor and stuff like that. So I don't know, it's zombies in here. I don't know if somebody's going to get thrown in there again. A little repetition from before, but you know what? We'll see what that is. And we got Maggie and Pearlie here entering that room seemingly. And we got Negan killing zombies with the bat, which is awesome. Love to see that. And then we're running. And then we got the Croat and the Dama and Negan, all of them coming together. And they got these tubes. I'm assuming that these are going to be used as explosives or something like that. That's my guess. We got Jenny running through this field here. And there's somebody in the background, a new character, I think. I don't know what her plotline is going to be this season. She's a bit of a loose cannon. Now that she knows the truth, that Negan killed her father and stuff like that, maybe it's a revenge quest thing. I don't know what we're doing with that. I'm really curious. Maggie's got the Croat holding at knife point. I have a feeling that she's not going to kill him because he knows where Negan is. I'm curious why she needs to save Negan, what the motivation is behind that. But maybe it's some sort of altruistic thing where she's trying to stop this war or something. I guess we'll find out. And then we got a flamethrower, which is cool. And we got this ramming truck, also cool. We got the bat. Anytime we see the bat, I'm happy. And then we see Maggie encountering Negan with the bat outside of the cage. So maybe this is the new sanctuary, and that's Negan's place at the table. So I don't know what the context of the scene is, but I'm really curious to find out. So that's that. And then I saw the panel. I watched it through. It's pretty cool. It's good to see. I don't know. I'm not going to link to it because I don't know if this is going to stay up here or not, but you can find it yourself. But basic information we got here was Lauren Cohan is going to be directing an episode. She talks about how She got a sense of what it is to work with a crew, and she called it a humbling experience. And seeing the big picture of everything really had an impact on her and stuff. And I already mentioned what Pearlie said. We got a little hint that the Croat's going to get some backstory this season. He talks about how they go into his family dynamics, why he feels so eager to please the Dama. We're going to get that backstory. So I don't know if this means flashbacks or just conversations about it, but love to see that, getting deeper into that character. I was a little underwhelmed when we were setting this villain up, and then it turns out that it's actually somebody else who's really in charge. So, but if they can justify that with some character depth, we can make it work. So I'm curious how that's going to turn out. Jeffrey talked about bringing back Lucille, bringing back that good Negan, that bad Negan. And then next we got Daryl Dixon season 2, and I love this trailer. We're back at this nightclub area. The woman who was the singer who helped Daryl out is right here, and she says, "I thought you were dead." Daryl says, "Not yet." And then we got him killing zombies. His new weapon, the new go-to weapon, is this swinging kind of mace thing where he just swings at zombies. We see that several points in the trailer. It's a new dynamic for him. We're used to the crossbow. I like giving him a new outfit, a new weapon set. That all that is cool with me to define this new show. And Daryl's talking about how he doesn't feel like he fits in here. And then Isabel here talks about a word in French that means a change of scenery. So seems to be a theme of this sense of what is a home. What is home? That's something they talk about in this panel. The actor who plays Laurent over here talks about how he has conversations with Daryl about, home is what you make it and stuff like that. So he's still on that journey looking for that. So that's definitely the context of this season. And I love these castles and it looks great. But now we got the other half of the story, which is, of course, Carol trying to find Daryl. And I have a feeling that's most of her arc this season, at least for the first couple episodes. The first episode, Greg Nicotero, the director of this episode, talked about how there are 2 stories going on. So half of the episode is Carol, half of the episode is Daryl. And he also talked about how we are going to get hints at past characters. Now, whether that means a full cameo or just talking about it, references to the past, they were alluding that it's more references than actual cameos, but of course they would say it like that if there was a surprise cameo, so who knows. Greg Nicotero talked about how he recreated a moment from the past, so I don't know what that means exactly, but something from Carol's past trauma is getting brought up again in this season. So Ezekiel confirmed. That's what I'm gonna run with. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding. But I love that cinematic quality to it, that we have these 2 different stories going on and they end up linking up together. We have a new character here who is on Carol's side of the storyline that gets her over to France, and they have a plane, and we see them killing zombies, and a zombie gets sucked up into the propellers, which is awesome. Definitely a flashback to Raiders of the Lost Ark, so you love to see that. But it's a fun scene, and this character has both altruistic reasons to help her, but also selfish reasons to help her. So I wonder, what could Carol possibly be offering? Maybe he is wanted. Maybe there are people that he was with that cast him out, that are hunting him down. Maybe he just needs to escape, and actually going over to France will be interesting. That's just me speculating, but they said he also has a good part of him as well, an altruistic part of him, so he wants to help her. Maybe she helped him in some way. We're going to get all of this explained in this first episode, I assume. Love these shots of the plane flying over mountains and stuff like that. That's great. Here with Laurent, Daryl's talking about bringing him back to America with him. And just based on the look on his face, I don't know how he really feels about that. Of course, he has this whole mythology built up around him. There's like this miracle birth where his mother was zombified on his way out, so he shouldn't have survived. And they built up this whole, practically a second coming kind of narrative, that he will be the chosen one to lead the society back, and people put their faith in him. Everything they need in life that they want to see gets thrust onto this child. Daryl was pushing back on that. He was the skeptic last season, and he's still going to be the skeptic, and he's just sees him as a kid. So I don't know where Laurent is going to go. Is he going to lean further into that? Is he going to listen to Daryl and see the doubt thing? Maybe he feels some responsibility. Is he going to actually want to go? I think part of him would want to go because he likes Daryl, but he's going to feel torn, right? Like he wants to go with Daryl, but he also wants to fulfill his destiny maybe. So I'm curious where that's going to lead. We have a scene here with them playing baseball. And a funny story from the panel is that the actor who plays Laurent said he was supposed to miss the first ball and then hit the second one. He said that he hit the first one and then it went so far and they didn't get it back. So you don't have extra baseballs on set, bro? Come on now. But I like that idea. It's like a cricket bat, right? But it's almost like this American pastime, you know, the throwing a ball with your surrogate son, I guess. So that's a fun scene, you know, and we got Isabel in the background. Got Daryl with a bow and arrow, which is awesome. Love that. It's not a crossbow, but it's even more old school than that. I love the old school weapons in this, and that's just something that really, I think, aesthetically adds to the show. So we have Daryl getting tracked down again with these old-fashioned style of guns, and we have him getting captured again. Marion Genet, I think is how you pronounce that, and she has captured Daryl again and locked him in a cage. The airplane seemingly crashes here. There's smoke coming out of it. Probably just maybe they need to go repair it. They need to find some things to fix that. And Carol has the crossbow, which is awesome, on a collision course there. And then a lurker zombie pops up out of the moss that's grown on them, which is fun. And then we see the Louvre, which is really cool. We got this really moss-covered Louvre, really broken down version of it. Really, really love to see them taking full advantage of being in France. And this seems like a flashback scene to me, where they're inside that modernist, I forget what this is called, but this art piece out front of the Louvre, and it seems like she's stuck inside of it at the outbreak, and I don't think we know who this character is, and I don't know if these zombies here are cutting away from that. Greg Nicotero did say they look like the eye black zombies, so these are the fast zombies. And Greg Nicotero did say that we got Train to Busan zombies in this season. So I don't know if this is the scene he's talking about or if something else is there. But I love that concept. Bring in some fast zombies. These are the zombies that are injected with a serum that makes them faster, stronger, and more aggressive. So it was temporary before and it didn't always work. So I'm curious to see on a bigger scale how that's going to work out. But this seems to be some ill-gotten gains from the Louvre. We got the Mona Lisa, of course, and this is the nightclub. I think this is the singer lady from season 1, and we have seems like fast zombies here running. So I think they're zombies. I really do. And this is Cordon with one eye now, and he seems to be kind of an underdog this season. He seems very desperate. He's at his wit's end, it seems like. I think these are zombies, guys. I think we got some Train to Busan zombies there. And now we got a fast zombie at this gate here with the black eyes. Really scary looking zombie. I'm loving that we're getting more of these variants and stuff. It's really cool. And we got Daryl just motioning to unlock the door. I love this shot. I love how Daryl just no nonsense, doesn't even need to say anything about it. And then he just starts going to town, killing some of these zombies. Or these aren't even zombies. This is regular people, I think, right? So I love this shot. I have to wonder if any of those guys had guns on them. I guess not. Here's Carol. This looks like France to me. So maybe this is her making it to France. I'm just totally basing that on the architecture and stuff that we're looking at and the road. It looks like France to me. It might not be, but it really looks like it. The other big thing in this trailer, we got a new variant of zombies with this bioluminescent moss stuff. There is moss in the real world that does glow. It has that bioluminescence to it. Now we got a zombie infected with that as well. And whether or not that actually contributes anything to the actual zombie, or if it's just a cool effect, either way, I love to see it. And here we got Madame Janae. Daryl seems like he's threatening her, and then she like kind of laughs maniacally, which is fun. And then something explodes. I think this is a scene we got a preview of at the end of The Ones Who Live, which is Daryl taking down this like motorcade with a bunch of different trucks going by. So it seems like this is the aftermath of that scene. And then an explosion goes off behind them. And I love these city shots, seeing the Eiffel Tower that we saw last season. Awesome. We got a motorbike. I don't know if that's Daryl on that or somebody else. And then Carol is still in America in this shot, I'm pretty sure. And then we get to see Carol in the background. So we do see that they are going to meet up this season. I have a feeling they're going to withhold that for a while, but we will see when that comes. Looking at this shot a little more, it is entirely possible that this is a flashback, because it does look like Carol is wearing a different outfit than she is for the rest of the shots. The other shot earlier that looked like it was in France, like I said, definitely had her in the jacket. And this green shirt almost seems like something she would have worn in earlier seasons. Now, the only thing that's making me hesitate with that is seeing Daryl have this kind of strap here. You see his outfit does have the straps on it, but it's a different color than the one we're seeing at the end. So the straps he's wearing in most of the shots looks a little bit brighter. Now, it could just be a lighting thing. The background is so blurry, you can't really tell anything about it. So I'm not really sure that this is actually in France. This very well could be a flashback scene. So I guess we will have to wait and see. Maybe this is what Greg Nicotero was talking about, how they had to recreate something from the past. I don't know. We will find out. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Some other things I missed in this final little montage on my first viewing is it seems like we got a scene here that shows Carol kind of confronting another sort of Sophia in the barn type of situation. This shot is definitely reminiscent of that, and it's definitely not a flashback, because you can see she's got this jacket on that we're seeing her in throughout this trailer here. So you can tell this is going for that, and I love how they cut so many things back to back to back that I missed that completely the first time. Another thing I missed here is we got this guy on the right with the gun is one of the leaders of the rebellion. This is like that rooftop community that we saw in season 1. And I believe with this eye patch here that this is Cordon himself, that he has been captured by them. And like I said, he's been the underdog, so I have to wonder if maybe he is going to kind of change sides. His motivation was kind of to avenge somebody's death that Daryl killed last season, so I wonder if he's still going to pursue that or not. He kind of had an opportunity and almost chose not to last season. So we shall see what happens here, and let me know what you guys think. And then we got the panel for Daryl Dixon Season 2. And again, it wasn't a ton of information. We did get the big announcement that there is a Season 3. Norman actually let the cat out of the bag with that before he was supposed to, and let everybody know that this was a thing weeks ago. So he wasn't supposed to say that. This was supposed to be the announcement, but we already knew it. But they're going to Spain, which is interesting. Daryl and Carol in Spain is the next season, and they're actually working on getting the story down for that, because they actually filmed season 2 of this show last year. That is on the horizon. Very exciting to see. And we already talked about a lot of the stuff that we mentioned before. Norman had a funny story about a prank that he was going to pull on Andrew Lincoln. They had a prank war, for those who don't know. And the funny story is that he had a prank all set up that didn't end up happening, during the pandemic and everything, when everybody on set was getting tested for COVID all the time. This is a thing in the industry, like 3 times a week or something, you had to get a swab. So he was going to meet up with Andrew Lincoln because Andrew Lincoln had to be in town for something at that point. He set up a joke to make a giant swab, and he was going to say anal swab or something, and he was going to have that ready for Andrew and just have shock on his face at that point, but it didn't end up happening because Andrew Lincoln didn't end up showing up. And then we got Carol with a beret, Melissa McBride in her French attire. Love to see that. And then Greg had a fun story about his first job with George Romero, who made classic zombie movies. And hey, actually, I got to meet Greg Nicotero at a convention recently, Living Dead weekend. I made a video about it, so you can check that out. I will link that in the description. But he had a funny story about how there was a shot set up where a zombie was supposed to bite a woman's cheek, and then when they were filming the shot, the actress lifted her arm up as you would when somebody's attacking you to try to get her off, and it ended up blocking off some of the special effect that they did, the squibs and everything to have blood spurt out, and the effect that they worked so hard to get, and then they didn't end up getting to see all that in the shot. And George Romero did not do a retake. Greg Nicotero was like, as an effects person, what are you doing? Like, we need to see that better. But then George said, it's real. Like, that accentuates what we're doing. And that taught him a lesson that it's not always about the effects, that it's about the overall story, and all that stuff adds to the realism. So that, I think, is a really good lesson there. And I already told Laurent's story, the young actor over here, his first acting job. So that's really awesome. Definitely respect that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. The Train to Busan zombies, we already talked about all that. So I'm excited for this. I know I made the video about Is The Walking Dead dead now? And that was really just about the hype about a shared universe and the CRM storyline tying all of these things together. And they did talk about how Scott Gimple was supposed to be here, but he's sick. But they always have conversations about tying these things together. And we thought, as fans, that the CRM arc was going to kind of wrap up The Walking Dead for real, that all these 3 shows were going to end up crossing over because we got the crossover series in the distance that's going to happen. So we were hoping that the CRM storyline was going to be this epic story linking all these massive stories across all these different locations. Everything was going to tie together, and then we'd have an epic finale. We all kind of wrote this story in our mind, probably just trained by like Marvel movies and stuff like that, expecting that. I still think that that would have been amazing. I still want to see that. But they didn't end up going that way with The Ones Who Live season 1. They could write it so that the CRM becomes a threat again, but I don't think that they're going to go that way, but who knows? You never know. No announcement about a season 2 of that, of course. Nothing to hint at that direction. I thought that there was going to be a CRM connection with the Janae character. Doesn't seem to end up being the case. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. But despite all that, I'm still a fan for life. And I love these shows. And when they are gone, I miss them. And the fact that these shows are quality. The first season of Daryl Dixon was probably like a 7 or 8 out of 10. Dead City, I'd give like 1 point less. Both great shows, both a lot of fun, and just as a zombie fan, you love to see it. I want to see these fast zombies in Walking Dead. There's so many things I'm excited to see in these upcoming spinoffs here, and I think that there's still gas in the tank. It's just a matter of, will I feel that way in a year? I hope so. My enthusiasm is going to be there. I'm a diehard fan. So I want to see that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section. What are you most excited to see with these new seasons of the spinoffs? Are you disappointed that there wasn't a big announcement of a new show or another Rick thing? They did hint at Rick and Daryl meeting up again at some point in the future, but who knows what the future holds? What do you want to see in The Walking Dead? All of that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. And with that, it's been your boy Shuggy. We'll see you guys in the next video. Definitely sub if you want to see more reviews and breakdowns of The Walking Dead and other franchises. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching, everybody. Peace out.